Hey everybody, this is JJ live on location here at the Capital Machine Dallas. Let's see, Arbuckle Court. All right,
One block over from Gas Monkey
Garage. So Matt is the founder of Road Grit TV,
That's
correct?
it,
And
yeah.
I think that would be Road Grit
.tv.
It's so easy. I can get it in there. You know that's easy. What? Tell me what the grid is. And then first of all, let me show you this. Okay, guys. And then where can I get that?
You get it at mattmanero.com or you get it on Amazon too, either way.
Oh, Amazon.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, what's the grid? The grid is what it takes to make it. I mean, look, there's a shortage of grid in your employees, in your company, and JJ, even maybe in you.
Maybe so.
Is that possible?
Well, I hope that listen, when you've learned it all, you need to tap out.
That's it.
I mean, I'm serious. Know it all, then need to tap out.
Well, listen, that's the thing that most people need to understand. There ain't no finish line.
Right.
There isn't a finish line. We think there is, and then when you get closer to it, you just realize there's another finish line. You know?
Exactly.
But the grid is really, my book is what happens when you feel like the chips are down and your back's to the wall and it's dark and you don't know how you're going to get through it, man. It takes grit to get through that. To show up every day when you don't know that it's going to work. In fact, most people around you or even yourself are telling you it ain't going to work. Hang it up. It's grit that keeps you showing up every day, unlocking that door and walking in and saying today's the day that something's going to happen. And I've had to do that multiple times in 21 years in business, and I'm so glad we did. But I was in the pain side of my business for so many years, and I like to think in the last 5 years or so we got out of the pain side and into the pleasure side.
Right. Right. So you get underpaid and you get overpaid. But
That's right.
I want to say something in regards to grit because you're talking about you got to show up. I mean, you have to show up. You got to whatever it takes. I know Grant would give that to you. Hashtag WIT. Okay, but we don't have titles on our cards.
I love it.
You know what I mean? I think being the president, CEO, or owner of a company, I've got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whoever doesn't show up, I got to fill the void.
Yep.
So, but I want to you touched on something that was very, as I rewind the hands of time, and let's keep this about you, but this just touched on a topic and that everybody want to hear, is that so many times when I was buying capital, everybody said, why would you do that? Why would you pay X amount of dollars for something that everybody's coming to you anyway? You can do the machine, you can do this, you can do that. Okay, why would you pay? Well, I don't want to disclose that, but it was a huge monetary figure to me, and especially at the time. And the more I got told no, the more I knew it was yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I said,
yeah.
I would ask. I'd ask anybody that I felt like had a simple mind.
Yep.
Wasn't a risk taker.
Yep.
Man, I wouldn't do that.
Yep.
I'd play it safe. They gave me the safe way. They would have a business plan for me, Matt. So I think that's what you're talking about. Is people are telling you no.
Look,
while you're saying yes, your gut saying yes. You know what I mean? Grit.
Man, I know this billionaire, and he came to me and wanted to buy my business, and he understood my business like that. I mean, just in the first 5 minutes, he understood my business like that. And we didn't come to a deal, but I said, what do you think about this network idea? He says, I'll tell you what, if you hadn't done it already, I'd tell you it's a really dumb idea. But since you did it, blow the thing up, make it huge. Because nobody's got the balls to do it. I'm in the finance business, why didn't Wells Fargo build an online network to help truckers run better businesses, or construction companies, or trucking companies, or towing companies? Why? Why didn't Bank of America or GE Capital do it? Why didn't these large publicly traded, why did an independent finance company out of Dallas have to build this network? Because nobody else did.
Right.
That's why. That's why we had to do it. I had to do it. I spent more money on Road Grit TV last year than I spent in the previous 19 years combined in marketing. Most people would say it's crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I thought it was crazy. What am I doing this for?
Well, and you guys need to do yourself a favor and go watch. It's just phenomenal. It's a lot of things, and then he touched on something. He's told you about grit. He's told you about showing up, doing whatever it takes. Show up if your eyes are bleeding. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
We know that has to happen. We know weekends are for winners. I don't work 5 days a week. I work 365. But so you touched on what you do for a living in regards to financing. What exactly do you do?
Sure.
What's the name of your company? What did you get founded when you were so passionate 5 years or 20 years ago, and everybody's saying no and you're saying yes? What were you doing?
So I finance, the name of the company is Commercial Fleet Finance, and we've been in business 21 years. And we finance in 4 industries: trucking, towing, construction, and moving. Those are our niches. We call them silos in my office. And we are absolute experts in that space. Because I believe, JJ, that experts get paid, amateurs get crushed. That's the way it is. There is no room for middle of the road anymore. You have to be great at what it is that you do. And I don't think you can be great at all things. I think you got to be great in just a few.
And is there a cap on the amount of money that you guys loan? I mean, is there
We have
too much that you can't handle?
No, there isn't. But our customers are small to medium-sized business owners with good credit.
Yeah, but explain small to medium size. I think some people.
Sure.
I mean, a $20 million a year business could be a small business. Okay, so
Yeah. Our
yeah.
average customer has 25 million in annual revenue and less than 100 trucks in the fleet. That's our niche.
So when you say small business, there's a huge misconception there that basically you go IPO, you're a small business.
Yeah,
so that's
a very good point.
Yeah,
I mean, there's an argument. Some people might say that our customers are micro businesses, right? But our average transaction size is $62,000. So it's not big money. We do it off a one-page credit application, so no bank statements, no tax returns, and a 2-hour credit approval. So that's why you would do business with us versus a local bank that's got to go to loan committee, and they ask you for everything, including the kitchen sink with the personal financial statements, corporate tax returns, personal tax returns. I don't need any of that stuff.
First baby.
Up to
blood
100.
test, DNA
I don't need any of that
swab.
stuff. I know my business so well that I don't need any of that stuff.
All
I
right.
can ask a guy 6, 7 questions, and we're ready to go.
All right. So let me ask you something. Do you on social? You guys on social?
Yeah, we're pretty busy on social. So you can follow us at CFF Nationwide on YouTube. We have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. You can get us, me, Matt Manero, on Twitter, or Matt Manero on Facebook. You can get our company, CFF Nationwide, on Facebook, CFF Nationwide on Twitter, and we're pretty active on social.
Yeah. Okay. So since we're streaming here at Facebook Live, everybody go to CFF Nationwide. Please click like and share. Give him some peace. Send him out to everybody. Matt Manero, but you make sure that you go ahead and you friend him on both places because you want to be able to tag him. Get him out strategically. Listen, I mean you can do this thing. You can do it strategically, or you could just be doing it. Do it. If you know somebody that has a fleet of trucks, okay, he just told you what he did for a living. All right. The only way that the value proposition here is he's here. He's spending his money. Look, 19 years. I want to tell him a little bit of irony about it, and I'm putting the camera totally on you. You're Dallas native?
No.
No?
I grew up in Connecticut.
How long have you been in Dallas?
I moved here, started my company here in 1995. So I've been here 21 years.
Well, okay, so where did you start? Infinite stages. First 3-6 months, everybody's saying no, you saying yes. My mind's telling me no. Hang on, I will break out. I will sing. I'll sing.
I'll go with you. I got moved here with another big company, and I was here to start the first office. And the minute I moved here, everything changed. The budget, the hiring, the offices, the goals, everything changed. And I said, I think I can do this on my own. And I didn't have any money, and started out of a one-bedroom apartment. I watched the repo man drive off with my car, and I had $40 to my name on a Shell gas card. And I walked to the gas station. There was a Shell gas station on the corner. I bought $40 worth of milk and Frosted Flakes. And I came back to that one-bedroom apartment and said, I'm going to do something with my life.
Bang.
And that was the start of it. And it was bad, though. I mean, it was terrible. And it was really, it was as hard as anybody could visualize it. And maybe as some people have lived it, and how very few people have lived it, though. It was as dark and as bleak as it could be. And I had one customer. He was a trucker in Greenville, Texas, and he was my biggest supporter. I mean, this guy believed in me, JJ, when I didn't even believe in myself. Mm-hmm. And I would call him and I would say, Bobby, it's over. I can't make the rent. It's over. And he would say, I'm going to buy a truck, and you're going to finance it, and you're going to make it. And that son of a gun would buy that truck, and I would make a piece on it, and I would be able to pay the rent, and I would go another 30 days. And then, that guy died. A couple years later, I got a call from his widow telling me that he died in a car accident the night before, and that he had always told her that if anything ever happened to him, that I was the first call she was to make, and that I would make it right. And that I packaged up that company, and I sold that company for her. I sold for $1.8 million, not all the money in the world, but everything was free and clear, and that was all her money, and I did the best I could to make that right.
Oh man, that's freaking beautiful. So where did you, when you, I want to say this to the cameras. I mean, there's a high price to pay. My theme song right now is David Allen Cole. It's The Ride, And said, you know, if you want to be a superstar, get ready. It's a long, hard ride. You know what I mean? You can dance and sing, you walk the street, but you better know have it in your heart. So he wanted to be something. He paid the ultimate price. That's everybody knows my foxhole prayer, 3-part. You know, when I said, hey man, I'm going to be the solution, not the problem. So, you know, at some point, I mean, because I have people in the company that say X, Y, Z. All right, well, we get to a point in your company, and I don't know how you run yours. I'm just telling you how I run mine. Is the ones that've been on the grind with me, of course, once we get to, you can only exchange time for money for so long. But nevertheless, I figured out how to get the phones to ring. But here, so we always transition. I've got 2 that are transitioning right now from hourly to performance-based, okay? Now that's getting out of their comfort zone. All right, so I'm going to tie this back into what Matt's talking about. Is he's banging it out, 1-bedroom apartment, he frosted flakes, 2 gallons of milk. That would only keep me alive for about 8 hours. All right, so he you know, he's in a lot better shape than I am. Look,
It's true, man.
Gun show. All right.
Not about the shape, about staying, about
where did you go from there? From the
yeah, man.
1-bedroom
Listen,
apartment?
it went. I got serious about growing a business,
Right.
and I did grow a business. And in '01 and '02, we pretty much lost it,
Mhm.
right? You know, after 9/11, nobody was buying equipment.
Right.
Delinquencies, collections were going through the roof. So we didn't have any originations, and we had a lot of money going out the back door, and we almost lost it. Probably should have filed bankruptcy at that point in time, but I didn't. I was just dumb enough. I didn't know enough. I just kept showing up.
Right.
And wouldn't you know it, we got through it. And then in '08, '09, it got real bad again for us. And at that point, I tell you the truth, I would walk home, JJ, and go home, and my wife, we got married in '99, so we've been together, whatever that is, 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come home, and she would say, I can feel it like I was touching the doorknob today. I'm telling you, I can feel it. And I would touch that doorknob and open the door, and I know exactly what was going to happen. And she'd say, no hugs, no kisses, nothing. She'd say, did you pay yourself today? Mm-hmm. And I'd say, no. And she'd say, did you pay your employees? And I'd say, yes. And she'd say, what's the matter with you? How could you do that to your family? I had 3 boys. How could you do that to us? She would say. And the funny part is that that was the only time I told her the truth. I hadn't paid myself in months, right? I just told her I did. And she would say to me, Jid, she would say, one day, Matt, you're going to realize you're bigger than your business. One day you are going to realize that you are bigger than my business. And I said, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to grow a $100 million company. I'm going to shut my wife up. And I did it. 2 years ago, we did 104 million. And my wife never, ever questions it anymore. I mean, I sometimes you got to hit rock bottom like that, man. Sometimes you need someone who you love so much to dislike you, or drink too much, get a divorce, have a death. Sometimes you need something that extreme to get you to the next level.
Oh, I totally believe that. I had a girl tell me the other day that I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Despite, I said, let me tell you, you feel fear, you feel anger in the right way, without lashing out at the person. And I'm telling you, if you want to prove the whole world wrong, then maybe it's about to happen. You know, I mean, use that. Because, you know, I've used a lot of circumstances in life where I was going to be, like every time somebody told me no, but everybody tells you no. And we're inching our way to the irony of the whole situation. He and I got a lot of common ground just sheer by what he does for a living. You know what I mean? Plus he's a hustler, and that's a very positive statement on Machine Man Live. Okay, so once you got out of the apartment, once you started doing good, once you got through, was it after 08?
Man, it all comes down to selling, and anybody who doesn't know how to sell, you need to know how to sell. It all comes down to selling. You got to be able to make the phones ring. In fact, you know that guy Bobby Whitfield I was telling you about earlier?
Yeah.
He used to say when the phones aren't ringing, just get on the phone and start making shit up.
That's right.
To get the phone ringing. It's true.
Outbound.
You need to just start making phone calls and saying, do you believe what's going on over here? You're not going to believe the sale I got. You're not going to believe how low our rates are for the next 30 days. If you're buying, you got to do it now.
Create a sense of urgency.
You got to create the market.
That's exactly right.
When the market isn't there for you, you got to come up with something that creates the market, because you only need a couple singles to get going again, right, JJ?
Yeah, I hope all my salesmen are here listening to that. You know, outbound, we did 300 to 500 outbound calls prior to the grand opening for local contractors that could reach out to us. You know, here's a closed mouth does not get fed.
Well,
right.
here's the deal in my office. If you're a salesperson in my office, you need to make 75 calls a day and have 3 hours worth of talk time. And we track that on the phone system.
So you're using a CRM, obviously?
We do. We have a
Oh,
CRM.
we-
We
did
built it
anybody use it?
ourselves.
Okay.
We built our CRM ourselves. We track everything ourselves, and we track the call report every day. And you need to make 75 calls or 3 hours worth of talk time in my office, and that's it. There ain't no suggestions, no ifs, ands, or buts, because that's the level that you need to be on the phone to make the wheel spin.
Do you refine the pitch? Do you listen to the calls?
You know, I used to spend a lot more time doing that. I have a
Mhm.
sales manager now who does
Yeah.
that for me. But
Yeah.
I used to, and our phone system can.
When I say you, I'm saying the company. I mean,
No, absolutely.
look, a celebrity like you, planes, trains, and automobiles. I mean, I know. Look, mucho dinero.
Listen, when we get to $1 billion, then I'll agree with you. But, and by the way, that's the new goal. The new
Yeah.
goal is for us to get to $1 billion.
There you go. So 100 million was a stepping stone. How many people do you know that 100 million is a stepping stone? You know, so this is a. He said it takes grit. He's got the. How's the show doing? I mean, you know, it was. I know it's out of the box. I mean,
it is.
How is the show doing? Because I know you're excited about
I think it's going good. I run. You know, I got a couple things going on. I got this new book
Yes.
coming out in the fall called "I Need More Money."
Right?
What to do when you wake up and you don't have enough. I wanted the book to be called Middle-Aged Man's Bitch Slap, but the publisher wouldn't let that happen. This is a real book too, not self-published. It's
Yeah.
a real published book, and nice advance on it too, the whole bit.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm doing the radio show called I Need More Money. That goes on Biz Talk Radio. And then I do the Grit on my network, Road Grit TV, where we talk about all kinds of different strategies for business. I mean, the most recent episode is how do you fire the bottom 10% of your workforce? How do you have the guts and the grit to fire the bottom 10% of your workforce? Because you need to do it. The bottom 10% of any organization don't get it, and they need to go.
No.
That's the deal.
The cancer in your organization. That's exactly right.
It's not a bad thing.
If you move a great force and something's not happening, I mean, there's something wrong. Something wrong internally.
Yeah.
So you're doing it. So you've got a sales manager that stays, kind of refines the pitch. You've got a certain amount that because every phone call pays something. That's what people don't realize is that you got to make X amount. You know what I mean? I mean, you got to do the math backwards.
Yeah.
You got to make X amount of calls. X amount of calls yields me $100,000 a year. See how many calls I made that year. I do the math. I divide that into whatever the case
That's how
may
it
be.
plays out.
That's what I try to tell the salesmen. Is then you do this. You send this to me every day. Okay, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, however hard you want to bang it out. You know.
We had a sales guy come in and quit yesterday. He'd only been with us a month. And he brought his suitcase and packed up his desk yesterday because he said he couldn't work at the pace that we require. Because I know the pace of success. I know what it takes. And if you're not willing to do that, everybody wants to do it. And for those listening, everybody thinks about it. They think they want to do it, to then sit down and do it. And whatever it is, whether it's calling on people, building machines, whatever that is, selling advertising space, it doesn't matter. It's a huge difference between talking about it and doing it. And that's the difference between the money makers and the non-money makers. I mean, it ain't no secret.
Power in numbers. Power in numbers. And this is, let me get this going right here. So, Michael and I met in the car business many years ago, and I will tie this in because we were top producers, okay, which eventually led us into management and things of that nature. And I could tell you that the top 10% made over. It was always a 10-90 rule, but the top 10%, and this is anything in sales, what he's, I guarantee you, I can go to his office and the top 10% make 90% of the money.
Yeah.
The top 10% are going to make 90% of the money. So, I mean, listen, the phone is your friend. Bang it out, man. I'm telling you, robotic. You know what I mean? I tell them, don't sit there. I told you the outbound call I made over lunch the other day. Yeah. 4 minutes later, I said, listen, I don't know who holds your equipment, but he wants to talk to me. I'm calling you to solve a problem.
You got to have confidence.
I'm a problem solver. You hear me?
Look,
if I could wave a magic wand and make anything happen, and I can, by the way.
I just had this guy on Facebook. Michael, you'll get a kick out of this. I had this guy on Facebook. He's talking about how he's starting his new business and he's driving from wherever to wherever to start his new business. All that stuff. He makes a post yesterday that says, was on the phone with Dun & Bradstreet. They wanted to charge me $600 to get my Dun & Bradstreet, so I did it myself. All of a sudden, and I instant messaged him. I said, I know you didn't ask me for the suggestion, but stop doing all of that administrative BS. Nobody cares. Get on the phone, find some damn customers, right? You ain't going to be asked for your Dun & Bradstreet report for a long time, man. start making some calls.
I want my D&B. Yeah,
Yeah,
D&B.
I want my-
I'll sell something, player.
Newsflash for my new business. I just ordered my business cards, right? Dude, nobody cares. The marketplace doesn't care about that stuff.
I'll tell you one thing. What would be the one thing that cures all in any company?
Sales cures all.
Dang, what? Yeah,
But it's not. But it's not. It's for real.
It is.
Most
That's
people-
true.
And look, we've heard Cardone talk about it, but you and I know this long before we heard Cardone talk about it. the expenses are a very small portion of your problems. Your problem is you don't got revenue,
That is, oh, hey.
and that's in personal. That's in your home life. That's in your
don't
own.
get me talking in tongues now. You know what I mean? Hey, everybody knows I believe in that.
This
bullshit.
Listen,
Yeah.
this rice and beans and rice bullshit by Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, oh,
it's
yeah.
absurd. You
Yeah.
need more freaking sales, man. You don't need rice and beans and rice.
And he's probably on this feed. I won't call him out because he's a super freaking good friend of mine. And I said, partner, you ain't gonna cheap your way broke. I mean, you ain't gonna cheap your way rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The piece of equipment that he was gonna put on was gonna pay for itself in one job.
Yeah.
One job. He wanted to negotiate on one job. We're talking about a $3,500 machine, and he's a baller. He's getting after it. You know what I mean? And I said, man, I don't know, saving $200 gonna get you to be a millionaire. You know what I mean?
But you and I are in the same side of the business because we both, I finance it and you sell it, revenue producing machines. And that's the side of business I want to be on.
Sure.
I don't want to be on the side where Mrs. Jones can kick my teeth in for a quarter point because she's working 10 different mortgage people. You know what I'm saying? And in your office, you know that your machine can the cost of your machine, it's a month's worth of revenue if you're running your business right.
It has potential to pay for itself in a month, yes, but on a $35,000 machine.
Yeah.
It depends on how big the contractor is, how big they want to go.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about a $3,500 machine that you can get the dollar a foot for removal. You can get more for removal than you can for putting it in. You have to pay for the product.
Yeah.
So it's not rocket science. But he's on here. He loves that. He uses it all the time. I said, you're not going to cheap your way rich. There's no way. It's sales. Sales, grit, sales showing up. Not to make this about me, but I broke my clavicle. Did about 4 or 5 places. I don't know, probably 2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks?
2 ribs, everything, so, and then we had a Machine Man Live. I don't usually watch the rewinds because if I do, I'm going to critique myself. Now, I may not do it the next week, so, but I did watch this particular one because they gave me, I hate to even say this, but it's the truth, so, because they gave me Tylenol 4, and I said, well, I wonder, because that stuff has such a strong impact on me, and I watched it, and I said, yeah. I can tell you was on pain medicine right there, so I apologize. I had to bang it out, but listen, I showed up. I never missed a day of work. I never missed a day of work. And I'm not going to miss Machine Man Live here. Mike knows that, so.
I say to the,
because you're taking time out of your day, so we really want to.
Well, we want to help you.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. I don't get paid, you don't get paid, but the thing is a lot of things are deferred gratification. You know what I mean? If you want to raise, go look at the man in the mirror. Man or woman.
Here's one thing too for the audience if they care about this. I say to the guys in my office, some guys will come and say, "Hey, is the office open on Saturday?" I go, "The office open 24/7 if you want it, baby. If you want to go and make those calls." I said, "But let me just tell you something. It's mathematically impossible for you to work more Saturdays than I've worked. It's impossible." Because I have so many Saturdays and Sundays in the bank already that even if you worked for the rest Saturdays and Sundays, I'll still pick up a few Saturdays and Sundays. It's mathematically impossible. And for somebody listening, if you want to get to the next level, ask yourself that question. If you worked enough Saturdays and Sundays.
The weekends are for winners. That's
weekends for winners.
Two-day jump, man. I'm telling you, look, my Monday's on Saturday.
Yeah.
My Monday's on Saturday.
It's true.
My phone, listen, my phone on Monday morning is freaking... It's catastrophic. I went and looked at something maybe I could buy and build or sell, just any way I can make a living. I've got to be able to pay my bills, you know what I mean? One of my biggest bills is behind the camera over there. Just kidding. The Godfather of the car. All right, man. So anything else you want to talk about? Anything else going on?
Listen, if you get a chance, go to roadgrit.tv. Check out my book. MattManero.com. If you send me an instant message on Twitter, I'll go ahead and send you a free copy of the book.
All right, so let me do a wrap on this. Is that cool? So everybody, Machine Man Nation, please go friend him, okay? Let's go individually and friend Matt Manero on Facebook. Then go to CFF Nationwide, which should be right up underneath his name, okay? And tag him in your post and send it out strategically. You guys know somebody that needs equipment financing. If I know a guy, and I do, that needs to get in touch with you right now, wants to do equipment leasing on his, how does he get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, call me.
We've plugged a lot, but how's the best way you can get in touch with you today?
The easiest way is to call me at the office at 972-247-8447. And I'll take the phone call if I'm there. Otherwise, I'll immediately direct it to somebody who will help you. And you'll be amazed at the level of expertise and service that you get in my office.
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, he's got a couple of guys here with us. They're not showing up on camera, but so obviously he's mentoring them as well. You know, which is phenomenal. I mean, teach people how to succeed. Show them what your expectations are. You lead by example. Boy, you look tough right there. You know.
Right. About 20 pounds less too. That was about 20 pounds less.
Well, I mean,
do you know I gave a speech?
When you got 100 million, you're gonna gain a little weight. I mean, my God.
You kind of feel like you can eat a little more.
I mean, yeah, but I did 80,000 this year. You know what I mean? I'm eating good.
I did. This guy asked me to come do a speech for his group. I came in there, and at the end of the speech, he said, "Who is this guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's funny." He goes, "No, really." He said, "Oh my God, that's you." I go, "You son of a." I should have charged you for this.
Bleep.
I should have charged you for this one, you bastard. Can you imagine?
Man,
that?
listen, thank you so much for coming on. Hey, one thing, and I was trying to get to this because this is the ironic part, is that tell them what location we're at.
We're at what we call in my office Arbuckle Court.
Arbuckle Court.
I was at 2400 Arbuckle Court from 1998 to 2005. And we're back in Arbuckle Court right here. Same strip mall, same guy who owns the building.
Yeah, so Neil Felton, let me give a shout out to him. I told Neil one time we were over here shooting. I said, "Hey, we're gonna make you famous." He looked at me point blank. He said, "Brother, I already am famous." Hey, honest to God, true story. I tell it like it is. I said, "We're gonna make you famous." He said, "But listen, probably 60s, super gentleman." You know what I mean? And he looked at me. He said, "I don't need to help with that. I already am famous." So Neil, if you do happen to run across this on social media, I like your style.
Yeah,
so he was here.
I was in this building,
They've divided these suites up. We're in 2408, but you were down on the corner.
2400 on the corner.
2400 on the corner.
For a long time, man.
Yeah, so that was after the Frosted Flakes, the 2 gallons. You know what I mean? Now he's been pressing Volkswagens and pull up.
Man, I thought I made it when I moved into 2400, man. I'm telling you, I thought I made it. Oh, man.
You did it big.
I thought I hit
millionaire
big, man, when I was on 2400. I'm telling you.
So I guess we got the same personality. You know, this thing could go on for hours. And then I mean, as you can tell, I want to interview Michael. You know what I mean? Because Michael took. Let's rewind. And I'm gonna do this on your time. This is good stuff. Is every time Mike says that there's a next phase in social, all right? You'll be a little resistant. You know, or let me speak for myself. You're a little resistant. You kind of let it go. You know. But Snapchat, I'm telling you, I mean, everywhere he's at, everywhere he goes, listen, the kids always beat you to the punch, okay? The kids were Snapchatting 18 months ago. I know we had a foster child, and he ate up 60 gigabytes of data in 10 days with Snapchat. But Snapchat, I mean, Michael's not going to say anything back here, but I will tell you that y'all get in touch with him, okay? Please. Man, just for a consultation for your company or anything like that, I mean, he can really, really take you places. But heed the advice, okay? Because this is free advice. Is that we have not had a guest on this show, and most of the guests on our show are clients of Michael's. And I tell you, there's not been one that hasn't walked through his door. He doesn't get a dime by saying that, okay? We pay him, okay? He handles everything for us, so for Capital Machines. So But anyway, it's just social. Social is your friend, and it's Grant's talked about this a lot, and I hate to refer to Grant, but I mean it's just really good advice that hey, you could throw $100,000 in advertising if nobody knows you. If you're obscure, do you think your advertising dollars do you any justice?
No, I've done it.
I mean, you've done it.
I've done it.
I mean, I think that's so important because if you don't own your space, everybody. I know Greg's got lofty ambitions. He wants everybody in the world to know him. You know what I mean? I'm pretty vain too, but I want everybody in my space to definitely know who I am. And if I don't, then shame on me.
Yeah, but JJ, most people are afraid of that, right? It's a real fear. It's a fear of being, am I going to be exposed? Am I going to be looked at as a jerk? Am I going to be looked at as a fraud? Right? It's really hard to come out of that shell. I wasted 18 years not doing it. I used to have a marketing guy who would say, somebody needs to get in front of this company. And I'd say, and he'd say, it needs to be you. I'd say, if you say it again, I'm going to fire you.
I mean, people get nervous, you know, and this is yeah, and you know, all this started by me just, we build installation machines, okay? What's glamorous about that? You know, and I would just do, and everybody's here's heard this probably 5 times, but I would just do a Machine Man Live on the fly. You know, kind of what my day consisted of. And then I would get hate mail, instant message if I didn't do one for 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
And of course Mike picked up on that. Mike said, you know, I think you need to start probably doing more of that. And then it manifests up in the show. Well, my apartment's 1.8 miles from here. We have a corporate apartment everybody flies into, so it's in Las Colinas, Farmers Branch, whatever. And but nevertheless, 2 shows ago, I forgot. I got so nervous that I was about to, you know.
Really?
Right before the show, yeah. That I mean, I don't know what it wasn't. I wasn't starstruck or anything like that, but I had to go home. I was just like about to puke. I wrecked my motorcycle. I was on the Tylenol 4, okay. But anyway, I had my arm in the sling. Whoever was on the show when I had my arm in the sling. But anyway, listen, man. Thank you for. I want to thank you for being great, and thank you for having grit. And I mean that because $100 million company, guys. All right, that's freaking huge. Okay, that's my goal. You know, that's so where we're at as far as that goes. I'm afraid the IRS maybe watches, so we won't say anything like that. You know what I mean? No, but you know that's our goal. So we're trying to get to 100 million, and you know he's big, and so he wants to be a Billy. There's only 40 of those in the United States of the world. I can tell you that billionaires.
Well, it's possible. I'm telling you, listen, it's possible for anybody. I really mean that, though, for anybody who's listening or watching. It's true. Anybody can have success. It's just a matter. I think Larry Wingate says, and I heard him speak at this thing last week, and he said, you can have anything you want. It's just a matter of what are you going to give up for it. And it's true. You got to make real sacrifices. Listen, sacrifice with the kids.
Oh yeah.
Sacrifice on the home front. Sacrifice on not buying stuff when you watch your neighbors buy stuff. I mean, it doesn't go like this, man.
No. The struggle is real. Alicia, that's for you. The
Real.
struggle is real. So we live in an apartment. Now, I will tell you that my lake house back home in corporate is not like my apartment here, which is 1,086 square feet that at this moment in time, 9 of us are living in. Huh? The struggle is what? Real. All right, everybody, thanks for coming on. Hey, the Grit, y'all check them out. It's Amazon. If you can't find it, Google it. All right, listen, go to Grit TV, or it's roadgrit.tv.
Yeah, roadgrit.tv.
Okay, but Social Warriors, y'all go, CFF Nationwide on Facebook, and Matt Manero, friend him, blow him up. Listen, if he doesn't get 50 likes, I'm going to be very disappointed. Hit him with them deuces, Matt. Out. Machine Man out.